friends. Welcome back to another episode of the Classy Cooking Channel. I'm Dawn.
And I'm Denise. And today we're featuring our brown butter sage sauce with Grand Marnier. It's decadent, it's nutty, it's earthy, it's buttery, and it's orangey sweet. It also pairs beautifully with our pumpkin ravioli and is a truly special dish.
It's amazing. Let's get started.
Mhm.
I'm going to help Deneen out by doing a little garnish of sage, fried sage, in fact. And the reason why I do this with sage is because once upon a time when I was growing a lot of sage in my garden, I gave a giant baggie of it to some friends of mine. They were foodie friends, and I felt like, oh, they're going to love that, having some extra sage around. And I was very surprised that one of them said, I do not like sage. The texture is really weird to me. And that makes a lot of sense because it's very thick and sort of fuzzy. And so if you're someone that thinks maybe you don't like sage, try frying it. It completely changes the texture and becomes something that you get all the flavor, but not the same texture of that sort of fuzziness from it. So we're going to fry the sage for Janine's dish. I'm using some extra virgin olive oil, and by golly, I am not actually measuring it. I just want to get a little coating in the bottom so that we can fry the sage, and I hope that's hot enough at this point. Let's test it out. Oh yeah. So my sage is frying up. It'll become a crispy little element on top of Janine's wonderful pumpkin ravioli. I've also done it where I've fried whole leaves, and it's just whatever you're after. It took almost no time whatsoever at this point, you can see, because they're small pieces. So now these pieces of sage are extremely crispy little elements, and the texture of them has changed, but the flavor still remains, and they're a great little tidbit to add to any sort of pasta dish or really any casserole, pretty much anything you can add it.
So Dawn has made our fried sage garnish, and I'm going to be making the pumpkin ravioli sauce. Well, actually, it's a brown butter sauce made with some brown sugar, Grand Marnier. We got a quarter cup of each. We've got two, or actually 3 tablespoons of butter and one set aside in case we need it at the end for a glaze. We've got some pasta water that we cooked our ravioli in previously. And we've got even more sage to add to the sauce while it's cooking so that can infuse in the sauce itself. So here we go. We're going to start by adding our 3 tablespoons of butter. And I highly recommend a nice grass-fed butter, higher quality. It just lends a richer flavor. You can definitely tell the difference. I think it makes sauces richer and more flavorful overall. But of course, if you don't have grass-fed, because it is a little pricier, any butter will do. So no need to worry about that. So we're just getting this butter nicely melted first. So when I'm making a sauce, you can stir it, that's fine. I like to do a little swirl method. If it needs to be on the heat because it's still coming up to temperature, I'll leave it right on the heat. Otherwise, I will pick it up, swirl it around so that it incorporates. It's very important for it to do so. And as you can see, we're still getting our bubbling action, and in a couple minutes, we're going to start getting a little bit brown. All right. Well, you can pretty much see that goldeny color right there, how the butter has just sort of turned. Now this is the point where I want to add, I'm going to first put in some brown sugar there. So stir it around. a nice little glaze. Let that melt in just a bit. There we go. Now, Grand Marnier. Our pasta water. You could stir. I'm just swirling it around here. And we're gonna let that cook down for a couple minutes or so. Just kind of let that hang out and reduce, because the sauce itself has enough butter in it and other ingredients. It's pretty decadent. So unlike other sauces, sometimes that are not so decadent, we don't need it to reduce too much. Now I'm just going to add a pinch of salt. Well, that's reducing as well. Maybe a little hit of pepper, right? Because salt and pepper just go well with everything. Kind of like a must-have. Okay, so here you can see our decadent brown butter sauce with a little brown sugar and some Grand Marnier, what that looks like. And in just a minute, I'm going to be adding the pumpkin ravioli that we made previously to this. Okay, so here we are, our pumpkin ravioli right in there with our sauce, and oh, that looks delicious. Oh my. So this recipe would probably handle 2 dozen raviolis. Today we just did a dozen. But you're probably good for 2 dozen raviolis, and plus or minus, if you do a little bit more, remember always keep some extra butter aside if you use a larger amount of ravioli. Now, of course, you can buy store-bought, but if you use, like, say, 2 dozen or more, you can use this recipe and adapt it with some extra butter. All of the flavor it's a very intense sauce, so all of the flavor is going to be in there. And this is just the foundation that no matter what you do with it, it is going to be great. So whether you're cooking for your family or guests, they're going to love it. And we're going to be back in a minute. We're going to plate this, Dawn, right? We're going to plate it, and we're going to have a taste.
Oh, look at the sauce. Look at that
Oh boy. Decadent, but yeah, we didn't make it too dense, right? There's nothing worse than like too dense sauce. This is just the right ratios.
All right, my friend. And so I want to just show a little bit on the camera.
Oh, let's look at
The
that.
plating of it.
Oh, pasta's so light. So light. This is just for something special, holiday, for that special someone. This is what you would, use this dish for.
Yeah. Well, I feel really, really thankful that I'm the special person that you made this for right now, and that I get to enjoy this. And all the notes playing off of each other, even right down to the black pepper that you added off camera. Just everything plays a part.
I did. I added more black pepper to it. That's just me.
My mouth is like sort of like my tongue is like singing. Like there's so many different things between the sage, the Grand Marnier, the butter, obviously the pumpkin, the silkiness of the pasta.
We used pumpkin puree and ricotta cheese in this filling, which kind of lightened it up, lightened the load. And typically you might get ravioli store-bought or wherever you may get them from. This is more of a dense variety, which is great. These you could eat more of. They're just so light, but they don't lack any flavor whatsoever. And in fact, we used So many great flavors. The sage, the nutmeg,
The nutmeg,
the
right?
fresh nutmeg, and it just comes through. And that's really what makes it so special. And then remember, if you want to step up your game as far as sauces is concerned, when it calls for butter, grass fed is the way to go. We love Kerry Gold. I think in this
Love
case,
it.
I used a different brand, but there's so many great natural grass fed butters out
Yeah, my
there.
go-to is Kerry Gold. But remember, oh, there's this lovely little shop right near where I live, slash where we work, and they import this amazing French butter. Oh, that would be perfect in this too. I'll
It
put a
really
link to the product. It's really a good butter.
it
If you,
really is a
yeah,
game changer
pretty much everyone knows Kerry Gold, but that one
Mhm.
is really well known in France.
in
And
France.
yeah,
And that, friends, finishes off today's brown butter sage sauce with Grand Marnier and our homemade pumpkin ravioli on the Classy Cooking channel. Thank you for watching, and we hope you enjoyed.
if you liked this video, please hit that like button. If you are not already, please make sure to subscribe to our channel. Hit the bell icon next to the subscribe button to be notified whenever we upload. We're posting cooking episodes weekly on our channel.
Until next time, keep it classy. Cheers.
Cheers.